everyone, so today's video is going to be a bit of a chit chat video. I got a comment on one of my videos recently asking to kind of talk about my A-levels and getting into uni and all that sort of stuff, so I thought I would do a kind of like my university story video where I basically just ramble on about everything from A-levels to getting into university. So if you've not watched my videos before, I'm a second year psychology student at Exeter, and I will be going into my third year in September. So yeah, I guess I should start at the very beginning, so like GCSE times. That honestly feels like so long ago now, and I do not envy any of you that have just finished your GCSEs or are going through them at the moment, especially because it seems like it's way harder now, the system, than when I did them. But yeah, back when I was doing GCSEs, I think I did about 11, and I got pretty good grades. I got maybe 4 A stars, 2 Bs and the rest As, and I also had done an AS level a year early, so I did English, Lit and Lang, and I got an A in that, which was really surprising. I was not expecting that at all. In all my like mock exams for that, I had got E's and I just had failed. I hadn't done well at all. My teacher, he was lovely, but he didn't have any hope for me. So I kind of went into it really laid back. I didn't like bother with it too much because I was focusing more on my GCSEs because I thought they were more important than this like extra AS, because I'd done my English GCSE a year early. So I was not really that bothered going into it, and I was so surprised that I got an A. But it meant that I was going into sixth form with an AS already, which was quite nice. Unfortunately, my school didn't actually do the A level of Lit and Lang, so I couldn't finish it, but it was nice to go in with an extra AS level. And then for A levels, I chose English literature, film studies, psychology and maths. Looking back, I have no idea why I chose maths. I always sort of enjoyed it, but I feel like you have to be really passionate about maths to do well in it, because it's so tricky and you kind of have to spend a lot of time getting your head around things, which I just couldn't be bothered to do. And also I didn't get on with my teacher very well, so I was quite like, I didn't really try very hard because I just wasn't bothered. I sort of picked English and maths at the time because I had no clue what I wanted to do like in my future, so I thought at least if I have these, they're kind of like the 2 staples and I can go off and do other things if I want to, if I have these 2 A-levels. So yeah, that's why I chose them, not necessarily because I loved them. And if I could give one piece of advice, it would be choose A-levels of subjects that you enjoy. Film studies and psychology I absolutely loved them so much, and I was so happy I chose them, and it just meant doing the work and going to the lessons was so much easier because I actually enjoyed doing it. So on results day in year 12, I got an A in psychology, an A in film studies, a B in English, and then a U in maths. So you can see I wasn't too great at maths, it definitely was not my forte. But luckily, because I'd done that AS a year early, I still had 4 ASs. So I had 3 A's, 1 B and a U, so it wasn't so bad because I'd already got that grade. But yeah, a U in maths definitely isn't great, and I definitely dropped that when I went into year 13 because I was not going to continue with a U. So then going into year 13, I was doing English literature, film studies and psychology. And in my school it was compulsory to do an EPQ as well as that in year 13, which I'm not sure if it's the same everywhere. I'm pretty sure it's not, but the EPQ is basically a long essay that you do, and it's kind of an extra qualification sort of thing, extra thing to add to UCAS. It does look good, but I personally was not happy about doing it. At the time I was just really struggling with stuff at school and didn't want to put myself through the kind of stress of doing something else. So I went to speak to my head of year and I didn't do the EPQ, which I'm really happy about, because at the end of the day I don't think it affects your uni application that much, like to a significant amount. Obviously if it came down to like grades and you just missed a grade, an EPQ probably would look very good. But I just felt personally it wasn't something I needed nor like kind of wanted to put myself through, so I didn't do the EPQ. Also in year 13 I was told that I probably should retake my English exam, the one that I got a B in, and looking back I regret not retaking it, but at the time I think it was a good thing that I didn't retake it, because again I decided not to because I was just too stressed and I didn't want to add something else to it. So I decided not to retake. I was like, a B is a fine grade, like it doesn't matter, I'm happy with a B. And then it came to looking at universities, and I was like, why didn't I retake that B? Because I fell in love with Exeter, and the grades for Exeter were kind of higher. And I would ideally want to get 3 A's, so I was kind of like, oh, I should have probably retaken that B, but at that point it was too late. So yeah, I started looking for unis around, I think, year 13 time, and like I said, I really fell in love with Exeter. I also visited UEA and Bath. I didn't really like Bath too much, but I put UEA down as like my second choice, and I also had an offer from Kent, but I ignored that because I really wasn't fussed about going there. But in my head, I knew that if I didn't get into Exeter, I kind of didn't want to go to uni at all, or not at all, but I wanted to retake, or, you know, have a year out and do something else and try and get into Exeter again, because that was a place that I really had my heart set on. So on results day, I'd not got my hopes up. I'd kind of accepted, okay, I haven't got in. My offer from Exeter was AAB. So there was a chance that I could get it, but I'd kind of told myself, you're not going to get it, like, there's no point in getting your hopes up. I'd kind of come to terms with it, and I told my parents, like, I'm not going to go to uni for a year if I don't get into Exeter, like, I've not got in, it's fine. And then I kept refreshing, I think, the UCAS website, and then it said, you've been offered a place from Exeter, and I was like, oh my goodness, hallelujah. I was so happy and so surprised, and at that point I did not care what results I got, because in my mind, like, your GCSEs are useful to get into sixth form, and then your A-levels are good to get into uni, and then once you're at uni, it's your uni grades that matter, so it doesn't really matter what your A-levels are. But I went into school anyway, obviously, to pick up my grades, and I got an A, 2 A's and a B in English. I was like a little bit gutted because I was really hoping for an A star in psychology, and I think my grade was pretty close, so I was a little bit gutted about that. I think even at the time I was kind of a little bit disappointed with the grades themselves. I was too happy that I was at University of Exeter to care. So yeah, I really didn't mind that I didn't necessarily hit the grades that I was kind of hoping to, because at that point all I cared about was that I was going to uni, and I was just really happy about that. So yeah, that's sort of my story up until university. The summer before university, I was so close to not actually going in the end, because I got too nervous about the whole thing and so stressed about meeting new people and having to move 5 hours away from home, and, you know, be in halls where you live with other people and you have to share toilets and share a kitchen, and my mind was just like, I can't do that. So I got to the point where I was like, I can't do it, I'm not going to go. But then obviously I did, and it was the best decision I've ever made, because I love it at university. I think I've surprised a lot of people with how much I love uni, because beforehand I just didn't seem like the kind of person that would enjoy it, I don't think. But yeah, I'm really happy at university now. So yeah, that is sort of my university story, I guess. Hopefully, if you're watching who commented, I think your name was Bella, thank you so much for commenting. Hopefully this is kind of what you had in mind, and hopefully other people found it interesting as well. If you have any more university video requests or any video requests, please let me know. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.